Welcome back, everyone, to PoducateMe, the ESL podcast. And we're here with another special guest interview. And today we have Cass in our studio. So, everybody, please give a very, very warm welcome to Cass.
Yay! Hi, Cass.
Welcome. Hi, Cass.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Cass is a very good and old friend of ours. We used to work together in a corporate world, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. Okay, none of that boring stuff, because Cass is actually a business owner and she does something really, really, really cool. Cass is a professional pet sitter. So today we have Cass to pick her brain about the details of the pets that she's sitting with, about her business, about the clients she's working with, and about this whole world of four-pod friends in general. So, Cass, once again, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're very, very excited to interview you and talk to you about this exciting topic. Yay!
You. Same here. I'm excited.
Cass, I am so I love asking you about your pet sitting business and all of that stuff. But one thing that I actually don't know, I wanted to know, how did this all come about and how did you become a professional pet sitter?
Honestly, I didn't think about doing this in my life ever. As a kid, I'm like, oh, I want to be an actress or I want to do this or that, like the regular stuff everybody
Yeah,
thinks about. But one thing that stuck to me as a kid is my love for animals. And so as a kid, I grew up with 8 dogs. I
Wow.
I used to, help the one of the nonprofit organizations to like rescue strays. And eventually, when I moved to Canada, I decided why not study about them? So, and this was without a goal. It was just
Mhm.
like, you just go in and study and see what I like. And I became a professional bather, which is actually a certificate here. You need a certificate to bathe dogs. Um,
really?
Okay, I
yeah,
have so
so
many
when
questions now.
Is
and
that also like including like a groomer?
yeah, so this is this is something you need to start with before you become a professional groomer. So you go
Um,
from a bather to an assistant groomer to a groomer. And grooming obviously is a lot more skills. You need to get scissoring certificates and there's so much to go. But I got into bathing, got my certificate. I worked in a grooming salon called Dog Father here in Toronto,
uh-huh.
and it was amazing. I
I know
learned
this.
I
from
know this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. And, some of the groomers were like super nice. I learned from them, but eventually realized that even though I love dogs, the grooming is not for me. And decided to go on this app called Rover and started pet sitting
Mhm.
while I was working in the company 9 to 5. So that's just how I got into it. And then, when I stopped working at the corporate, I decided to do this full time because I just enjoyed being around dogs, and that's how I became a pet sitter.
Wow, this is such an interesting story. And actually, I did not know about the bathing certificate
Oh,
that you are a professional bather as well. We should add it to your bio and to your portfolio.
thank you.
Okay, so you told us that you have grown up around animals. You had 8 dogs. Oh my God. But can you please tell us about your first dog sitting experience, like here
Mhm.
in Canada when you got like your first professional gig in this sphere?
Yes, so when I did get the dog, honestly, I was scared because it's not my dog. It is a lot of responsibility and it's somebody else's baby because, in Canada, people consider their dogs as their kids.
Yeah.
Um, so the first thing, even though having fun was the thing that everybody does when you're a pet sitter, I started thinking about what if the dog needs to go to emergency? What if it
Mm.
swallows something? What if this happens? And I think my first experience was basically looking into what if something happened and am I prepared for this?
Yeah.
Um, but I definitely enjoyed it. I'm like, why am I not doing this full time? But there's always that fear, like nobody automatically wants to start their own thing because it's scary.
Mhm.
And it's always safer to have like a income coming every month and everything's going to be okay. So I think that was a leap that I wasn't taking, but loved what I did. And it was just one dog. And now I do four dogs at the same time, which
Wow.
is a bigger party. But yeah, it was a good experience, a lot of learning.
Do you usually have the dogs come to like where you are, or like
Yes.
what kinds of, I guess, gigs, as Helen called it, like what kinds of gigs do you have? So are there kind of just like walking types of
So
positions?
yeah, so I got like the regular dog walking
Yeah,
services, but we also have something called check-in or drop-in when
Okay.
clients like a lot of clients now have been asked to go back to the office 5 times a day.
that's right.
That's where I come in. And so if your dog is alone for longer than a couple of hours, I go in, I'll feed them, I'll play with them, I'll walk them quickly, and then drop them back home. So I just drop in, do what the parents do, and then go back to doing it
Okay,
for another
so
dog.
this is a kind
Yeah.
of a daycare.
Yeah.
Oh.
I also have daycare, so dogs come to my house. They'll come
Uh-huh.
at 9, they leave at 5. It's like, and then I have this mandatory 2 to 4 sleep time, so they all know at 2 p.m. they have to go to bed because when they don't sleep, they don't behave properly, right? They're
Just
confused.
like kids.
Yeah, and so I also have, interestingly, I started this new service as a dog chaperone for weddings. So a lot of times now, weddings, they need dogs there. Everybody wants their dog at the wedding.
Yeah, of
So why do
course.
you want to bother the groomsmen or the bridesmaids? Like, that's where you can call me and I'll take care of your dog. Make sure they're fed. We'll make sure they're in the photo shoots. We'll make sure they do their business and they're ready for the wedding. So yeah.
Wow, it seems like the opportunities are endless.
Yes.
Actually,
Yeah.
I never even thought about this. Like,
I never
okay, for the
thought about
yeah.
anything like that. But of course, yeah, you would want to have your dog at
Yeah.
your wedding.
And you would want someone
And
else to
with all
take
the
care of the dog,
chaos of the
right?
day, you need someone that's not involved or in the wedding party to take care of that. That's such a great idea. I never even thought of that. Wow.
I'm
Was it
surprised
your
we don't have them here in Toronto, actually. So I'm hoping I'll be the first one to start this.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, did you come up with this idea, or is anywhere around the world people actually do it and you were like, oh my God, I can do that too?
I did research if somebody was doing this, but my cousin was getting married and he's got two beagles. And he's like, "Oh, look, do you want to come and just take care of my dogs while, like
Well, I'm getting married.
yeah, I'm part of the wedding, which is so weird. He asked me that.
Mm.
But I'm like, but what about me being a part of the wedding? And then he's like, "Oh, you can just be with the dogs and then be a part of the wedding." And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And that's how it got to me. And I'm
Click.
like, maybe if I was doing that for other people, they wouldn't have to even stress about, oh my God, can you call dad and just pick up the dog? Like he's got to go home. Like, no,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
I'm here. I'll do everything.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea.
It
Yeah,
is.
thank you.
So if
Hopefully.
you guys are getting married, yeah, and you have a dog, you know who to call to help you out on a very special day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So on a day-to-day basis, can you walk us through kind of like what does a typical day look like for you?
Um, So I normally now wake up earlier than I did before because the dogs need to do their business.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I take about 3 dogs maximum for boarding in my house, which are always sleeping on my bed. So we all wake up together, we're all stretching together, take them for a quick walk, come back, I feed them, I feed myself, and then I get a little bit of a break for about 2 hours. And then same thing. So I have a couple of other dogs in the area that need drop-ins or walks. So I walk my dogs in the house and then I walk them, I feed all of them, then I have food. Literally, that's what follows through. Like, and then I go to the gym, feed them, walk them, feed myself, go to bed. This is pretty
Wow.
much my day. Like, I'm just around dogs all day. And I think
Okay.
because of that, it's also helping me learn a lot about them, behaviors, and what is important, what isn't, what people can do better, what I can do better.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
So this is what I actually wanted to ask you about some of the common tasks that you have to do while you are dog sitting and some of the things that people might not think about, like the average Joes like us. Like
Yeah,
we
like
understand that like, yeah, you have to walk them, you have to feed them,
play
but
with
what
them.
are some other things that you do on daily basis that people might not think about?
That's a good question because I was thinking about it a couple of days ago. Three things. I have a list, but I'm gonna give you the top three.
Okay.
The I think the first thing I would say is, especially downtown Toronto or just the city, start walking your dog on the stairs a little more. Because when there's a fire and you're not going to be allowed to use the elevators. Because of the condos that we have in Toronto right now, everybody takes their dogs in the elevators, which they should, right? Because if you're on the 30th floor, you're not going to use
Yeah.
stairs. But I would say get your dogs to start walking on stairs as a puppy. It builds confidence in your dogs, but also it makes it easier when there's a fire or there's any emergency and you need to use the stairs. If you have a massive dog, you can't carry that dog down the stairs. And bigger
Yeah.
dogs is more scared than small dogs, it's surprisingly. So that's one of the things. And the second thing is every time you bring your dog back from a walk, just wipe their nose and their mouth a little bit because they put their nose in a lot of things.
That's right.
They're sniffing piss, they're sniffing poop. And then you're going to go and just cuddle them. Like you're
Yeah.
bringing all that bacteria back to you. So, as much as you're wiping the paws, remember to wipe the mouth and the nose. And I think the last one is, I don't know, this is a bit too much maybe, but wipe the butt. It's important.
Yes.
As a
Oh.
groomer, when you're bathing the dog, if you don't do it, like for me as a bather, I found it so difficult to wash them. The
Mm.
parents wouldn't think it was important. But yeah, wipe the paws, the mouth, and the butt.
That is a very interesting piece of information. Yeah.
Do you for the dogs that you take care of, the ones that you board or when you go to people's houses to take care of the dogs, do you also have to like do the owners expect you to like train them or like help out with training, especially with younger ones, the younger dogs?
Yeah, I think a lot of parents that come to me with puppies, they are trying, they want to learn. So
Yeah.
any pet professional, they're gonna ask, what do I do? How do I do this and how do I do that? Now, as much as I know about training, I'm not a professional trainer, so I've actually collaborated with another trainer, and she's amazing, and I recommend my clients to her. Um, I suggest puppy school and everything, but if they've started training with the puppy, I'm happy to reinforce it in their absence, just so it continues. But yeah, it happens. There's a lot of pet parents that are not really sure what they're doing. Um,
Yeah.
and this is where you understand there's a gap, and this is where parents can be taught better before they actually get their first pet.
Ooh, okay.
This is exciting. I actually have a little question about our canine friends. You mentioned the stairs before. So
Yeah.
I have heard, I had a dog when I was a teenager and adult. I had a dog, and I remember when we just got her, and she was a puppy, of course. So they told us that we should not let her use the stairs because apparently, like, their spines are developing, and it's like, I don't know, can mess up with their development.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about that. Like, what's the deal with the dogs and the stairs? So you also mentioned it, and I was like remembering the information
Yeah,
that I know.
that's a
I mean,
good
if
question.
it's not too technical.
No, it's not. They're not wrong if the puppy is going crazy on the stairs, right? Like if they're all going running up and down and going crazy, 100%, I agree. It's a bit scary because of the spine and everything. But if when I say puppy, I mean like say 4 months, 5 months, you know what I mean? They're
Mhm.
still puppies. For me, even 1 year is a puppy.
Oh,
So I just think it doesn't have to be massive number of stairs. It can be one floor. Just get them to understand the concept of one step after the other. So they learn to
um,
just go up and down because I do have a lot of dogs in the building. There's right now that one of the elevators are not working. So
Mm,
I don't want the dog releasing before I take them to the grass of the park, right? So I got to take them down the stairs. I'm on the lowest level. So a lot of dogs are afraid, and they're
Yeah.
big dogs. They're like older, maybe 2 years. And I'm like, this is not good. Like, you shouldn't be afraid. And so I started spending time with these dogs in the stairs actually now. And I encourage them to come down the stairs. And
mhm,
it builds a lot of confidence. It makes it easier for you when you are in an emergency situation,
mhm,
especially in downtown Toronto.
Yeah,
mhm.
I totally agree with that. I think that is something that people don't really think about. Like when I was living in Korea, we actually had adopted, we ended up at one time we had three dogs, three big dogs, and all three of them were scared of stairs. Even
Yeah,
just one or two stairs, they really had a tough time going down. So we spent a lot of time like rewarding after going down the stairs, like going with them. We had to spend a lot of time getting them used to the stairs because where we lived, we were kind of on the side of a mountain,
right.
and there are like staircases
Mhm.
that we do have to like go around when we're walking them. So yeah,
Yeah.
it is something that people don't really think about, I think.
No, they don't. Also, because dogs are meant to be in a field, like with a lot of,
Yeah.
space to run and play. And we are trying to bring in a creature like this into a city to adapt them to our life. Stairs
Mm,
are such a big part of Toronto. Like
Yeah.
in condos, you're not living in a house, and I just don't know how people forget that. In fact, I forgot that. But when I started noticing that the dogs are struggling, I'm like, no, we have to change this. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
get them more confident.
Yeah, actually, it leads us to a very good question that we've prepared for you. And we wanted to ask you, how do you handle nervous or high energy dogs,
Especially in a city
especially in the
and a
city?
condo.
Hmm.
Nervousness can be can come out in different ways. Like a nervous dog can be really scared and not want to do things. I truly believe energy in a person is everything. If you are going to be anxious, it's going to pass on to the dog. So when a dog is nervous, I try to be calm. And I'm just like, it's okay. I just wait for them. You have to remember that they have a brain of a 2-year-old. So if you had a toddler, how would you deal with a toddler that's like, no, I don't want to do this? What would
Yeah.
you do? You're just going to be like, it's okay, honey, just come. It's okay. Just, okay, you want to take some time? We'll give you 2 more minutes. You do the exact same thing with the dog. But then again, nervousness can come out as reactivity or can come out as barking. It can come out in different ways. In those situations, again, you have to take the dog away from the thing that's causing it to feel nervous
Hmm.
and take it away, distract it. But that's a temporary fix. I think when you have dogs that are reactive, barking and doing things like that, it's important to start training them to fix it from the source, like to
Hmm.
understand why it's behaving like this. And that's a lot of work over a certain period of time. And as a pet sitter, I can't do it. I can't help
Yeah.
these dogs because they're only with me for a small number of time, and then they go back to their parents, so the parents have to do the work.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
why I think all this comes back to when you get a dog, do not get it based on the personality type that you see on Google. You have to get it based off the purpose of that breed to see if you can
Hmm.
fulfill that purpose. So, a lot of nervous dogs in the city are normally high energy dogs like Blue Collie, German Shepherds, and they're meant to be herding sheep,
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
So, if you cannot fulfill that in the city, you should not be bringing them in the city.
Hmm.
So, I can go on about this.
That
But,
is very interesting.
yeah, I think people have to start thinking about the purpose of the breed
Yeah.
versus, oh my God, this dog is so cute, or oh my God, I want this dog because I saw this on Instagram and this dog does this. It's shouldn't be like that.
And it's tough because, dogs need routine, right? I mean, I think that's standard across all species,
Hmm.
ages.
Yeah.
And if the dog parent isn't willing to put in that routine, then obviously you'll create those like behavioral problems and things, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
They like discipline and
Yeah. Yeah.
like create training every day is discipline and they
Yeah.
love it. Some people think it's like, why do you want to put them through it? But they need that.
They
They
need
don't,
it. Yeah.
but they,
Hmm.
yeah.
Exactly.
The purpose. I really love how you put it into words about the purpose of the breed. It makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
Speaking of breeds, I see you have a little pet behind you there. So cute. What kind of dog is he?
Oh, he's a Maltese.
Ah, so cute.
Yeah.
Maltese. So I actually, speaking of like breeds and species and stuff, I was curious if you have kind of like personal favorites or like biases that you have with certain types of dogs. Like it could be species or ages or whatever the case is.
Mm, honestly, I've been asked this a lot,
Yeah.
but I never had that thing that, oh, I like this breed more than that breed. Because these dogs have personalities like us. You know, it's like saying, oh my God, I like, I don't know, a certain type of like Indians over, someone else. Like, it's kind of weird to say that, right? Like, I
Mm.
friends because you like their personalities. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter where they're from. It's somewhat like that for me with dogs. I love all of them. That's the problem. Maybe that's why I'm in the right field. I
It
have the
sounds
right
like it.
job.
Yeah.
But it's also a problem because like I love them all. And if I had the opportunity to take a few, I would take all of them.
Yeah.
I think the personality matters for me. I want a dog that the personality that matches me, like I think a Labradoodle, because I there's a Labradoodle that I sit every week.
Hmm.
So he gets excited when he looks at pigeons or, a squirrel or something, and I'm the same way. I just get excited when something new comes up or like
Yeah.
it's exciting. And then if it's not exciting, I just want to go back to sleep or just watch TV.
Yeah.
And
So
so
you
he
guys
does the
like
same thing.
personalities match it.
Yes.
Hmm.
So we're good together. We're great. He cuddles, I cuddle. We're amazing.
I never thought of it like that. Honestly, I never thought of it like that. Like I mentioned that I we had adopted three dogs and they
Yeah.
were all bigger dogs. And I personally I always thought that I liked bigger dogs.
Yeah.
They were like Labrador mixes.
Yeah.
One was like a golden retriever mix.
Like,
We got them from like a shelter.
mhm.
And then I did have to end up taking care of, and I did end up adopting um, after some time, I
Yeah.
didn't have any dogs, and I ended up being uh, the owner of a Pomeranian, like a tiny white, pure white little Pomeranian.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't
Both
know.
fur and
Yeah,
furry.
like I don't know if I can take care of this tiny little dog, but she ended up being just like the love of my life and I loved her personality was like she was spunky and she had a little bit of sass and
Mhm.
attitude and I we ended up being best friends. So
Oh,
yeah, it's true. Like yeah, we shouldn't stereotype against
Yeah.
certain.
And I guess that it depends a lot on how much time you spend around different kinds of dogs. Because,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
when you're a kid, like, your parents are like, okay, we're getting a German Shepherd. And then you grow up thinking that, like, oh my God, I love big dogs. I love German Shepherds. And then
Yeah.
if you grew up around small dogs, you're like, oh my God, I love small
Yeah.
dogs. So, and when
Yeah.
you have as much experience as you do, you're like, oh my God, they're all awesome.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
it's
it.
what it's what you can really do. It's what your lifestyle can provide the best for them, right? If I got a
Exactly.
German Shepherd, like you said, they love to work. That's why they're in the police force. They
Hmm.
enjoy sniffing. They enjoy doing a lot of tricks and stuff. And if they don't get that kind of stimulation from you, then maybe that dog is not for me if I'm not interested in being extremely active.
Yeah. And
So
challenge my dog all the time, right? With
yeah,
certain tasks
work.
and
It's a lot of
exercises.
work. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Okay, so we're getting so off topic because we actually wanted to talk more about like the business itself, of course, about the dogs
Yeah.
too. But tell us, please, how did you start building your client base and build trust with clients, I guess, which is more important?
Um, it's possible to obviously run ads and be like, I'm a new business and this and that. But here, I think I make it important sorry, I make it a point for the clients to meet me in person. Energy is
Hmm.
everything when it comes to dogs. So when they do sense my energy and see how the dogs are around me, it gives them the confidence that the dog is going to be okay. I have never had a single dog not come towards me and, just try to sniff me and be calm. It's never happened because I
They
try to
know
stay.
you love them.
Yeah, so I've been fortunate. Majority of my clients have been word of mouth. Um, so this is how I'm like, look, if you like me and you think your dog is happy here, please tell your friends with dogs about this, and I'll be happy to take care of their dogs. So it has been this way so far, but I've also started, um, I work with more than 20 pet sitters now in the city.
Hmm.
So I'm not only doing it myself, but I'm also trying to build a community of people that love dogs, that care for them as much as I do, and trying to make sure that the dogs that come into my business stay with a bunch of sitters that have the same energy, same love, same concern for them. And so now I'm having to think a bit bigger. So I'm trying to get more clients to build this community, not just with pet sitters that are doing this as a part-time, but also pet sitters who are owning their own businesses as well. Um,
Hmm.
I think it's like just building that community to make sure the dogs are okay, because the
Yeah.
dogs are priority. So yeah, I think this is how, and it just happened. Like I think I should think more about this, but it's been coming to me, like I'm like,
Yeah.
let me do that. The dog's going to be better here. It's going to be better there. So I think
Hmm.
putting the dog as a priority, things are just coming to me as I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And
Like a natural progression, right?
I like to believe I'm doing it the right way so far. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. So, what about the dog sitters and dog walkers that work for you? Do you do some kind of like, I don't know, workshops for them or some like training sessions for the people, like to discuss some things about the dogs, how to take care of them, or you're just like having a basic interview, meet the person, feel their energy, see how they're around the dogs? How does
That's
that
what
work?
I do. Yeah, so I don't select a sitter off of an application online. It's mostly in person. I need
Mhm.
to feel the energy. And this can seem so weird to people because, like, I'm like, without me feeling good energy, I'm not gonna be confident in working with you, um, and the dogs. And all my sitters, I've had interviews with them, discussed, like their experience with dogs, found out what they, how often they've like what do they do in such situations and stuff like that. And I'm so incredibly happy to have met all these people because they've become my family now. They're like my co-workers in a way. And we do hang out, we become friends. There's some of them in my building. We exchange food every now and then. It's
Oh,
become outside of the dogs too. So I am trying to build a community of, people that love dogs and also like to, do things like this. um, but
nice.
um, sorry, I'm trying to remember what your question was.
No, no,
uh,
you answered my question. I'm
okay,
just
good.
wanted to comment that it's not only about taking care of the dogs, but also about building community, as you mentioned.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
bringing people together, that's
And
great.
I love that this is the story of like kind of how this business started. Like you started with just a pure love of pets and dogs and taking care of dogs and wanting to be around dogs, and like you can see that that's where the growth in the community has happened, because that's
Mhm.
where that core feeling is, right? It doesn't feel like forced. And I think a lot of people who maybe look to you or call you for for like pet sitting or dog walking or things like that, I think that's probably the first thing that they kind of feel when they meet you, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
I want to run workshops eventually on a
yeah,
large scale to teach them.
you
Mhm.
should.
Working with these sitters, I'm already like trying to teach them a few things. And I'm like, look, you can be on Rover, you can do whatever you want. I just hope you can work with me too, and we can help some dogs. And I'm like, whatever you learn from me, you can also use that in your own pet sitting gigs that you do through other avenues, There's two of them that wanted to start their own thing. So I was also helping them, like, okay, go for it. Like you should. You want to start your own business, do it. As long as you're helping dogs, I think we're all good. I
Yeah.
think there's
Mhm.
enough space for everybody to to do their own thing when it comes to dogs. And if the end result is helping a dog, why not? So
Yeah.
This
yeah,
is
I don't know.
great that you said it because we actually wanted to ask you about what kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to start their dog sitting business as a side job or maybe as a career? Is there
Yeah.
any piece of advice?
I would say if you're going to do it solely to make extra money and not really focus on the dogs and understand them, take some time to think about it.
Mm,
Mm, But if you are passionate about dogs and you really want to learn about them, this is an amazing thing to do. Um, it does come with a lot of responsibility, so you have to remember to be prepared for an emergency, or if the dog ends up eating something they shouldn't, if they have,
mhm,
certain health issues that you can fix with food, and just be prepared. For to have, like because we live in a country like Canada where pets are really important, animal welfare is a big deal here. Have insurance for yourself. So these things when you're ready to take on that responsibility. But I'm always encouraging people to work with dogs. I'm like, you want to do it? Go for it because dogs need us.
mhm.
I need
Yeah.
more dogs in my life.
Yeah.
I don't have nearly enough dogs in my life right now. I need to find some. You know what? There's so many more things that I want to ask you about, so many questions that I could talk about dogs forever,
Me too, and
honestly.
pets in
Yeah.
general.
But
Mhm.
we are nearing the end of our chat. And one thing that we do at the end of every interview is we have something called a quick fire round. And so the quick fire round is basically we're just going to ask you three questions and you give us the answer just like off the top of your head, the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
All right. Ready? Do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Question number one. Big dogs or small dogs?
Big.
Uh-huh. Awesome.
Second question. Early morning walks or evening walks?
If you're asking in Canada,
Yeah.
summertime, I would say early morning.
Really?
Because it's not hot?
It's like the perfect temperature before the sun kills you. And you get to see other dogs because they're all there. Everybody gets to meet each other. And I love to go to a cafe close by called Daily Dose, and they love dogs. So go there, they get a treat, I get my coffee, and I get a good walk back. I just love it. I love summers in the
And it's
morning.
a great way to start the day,
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
nice. Okay, and the last but not least question. I know we kind of touched up on this, but still, your dream dog breed to sit.
I've actually sat pretty much most of them. Great Dane, a Great
Ooh, oh my God. Is this the one that looks like a
Huge.
deal with
Yeah.
a
They're
cat?
massive. Yeah, they're as big, like almost as big as a pony. They're like massive, but they're the most loving, most sweet dogs ever. They look scary, but they're not.
I mean, they look
They
majestic.
do.
They do
They're
look
beautiful
majestic.
dogs. I've never sat a Great Dane, so I would love to.
Amazing. Awesome. Cass, thank you so much for all the information you shared. I know that there's probably like tons of other stuff that you would love to tell us. And there are a lot of questions that we wanted to ask and didn't.
Yeah.
And that so many questions popped up in my head like during the interview. So maybe we'll have you some time for part two. But for all of our listeners there, and if you guys are watching us, we're gonna leave Cass's Instagram profile, so if you are in Toronto and you want some love and great care for your dog, you can contact Cass. Or even if you're not in Canada, you can also contact Cass, yeah, via Instagram. Thank you so much, Cass. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you so much. It was so much fun.
Thanks. And for the rest of you guys, if you have any questions for Helen and I, feel free to drop us an email at eslpoducateme@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at PoducateMe.
Thank you once again. Bye.
Stay tuned. We have the language lab coming up next.
Welcome back to Language Lab, where we fetch vocabulary, roll over confusing expressions, and occasionally get emotionally manipulated My puppies.
And in our latest interview, we chatted with Cass, who is a professional pet sitter, about caring for animals, running her own business, and, surviving that emotional chaos of just being adored by dogs.
Yes, what a job,
What
right?
a job.
And the first word in our list is the word pet sitter. So, pet sitter is a person who takes care of someone's pets while the owner is away or at work. So, it's like a babysitter, but your babies are furry.
The next word is paw or paws. Paws are like the feet of animals. So when you think about the dog's feet or the cat's feet, these are called paws. Very, very cute.
Non-profit organization. A non-profit organization is an organization that works for a cause rather than to make money. Like animal rescues are often non-profits, fueled by passion, donations, and caffeine. I'm sure of that.
Our next word is stray. Stray dog, stray cat. These are animals that do not have owners. You will often see stray animals maybe like out on the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have homes.
Mm-hmm. The next word is the word groomer, and groomer is a professional who cleans and styles pets. So it's basically like a hairstylist, except that your client sometimes may bark at the blow dryer.
Yeah. You also have people groomers, like celebrities, when they go to award shows and stuff, they
Mm-hmm.
actually, part of their glam team, they have
They
something
the
called a
groomer
groomer.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scarce. When something is scarce, it means that it's rare or it's hard to find. So, for example, when you have a pet, some of your free time gets a little bit scarce.
Mm-hmm. And the next word is the word gig. Gig is a job or temporary work opportunity. So, pet sitting can start as a side gig and grow into a full-time business.
Yeah. It's kind of a casual way of saying like
Mm-hmm.
a tiny little job like
Mm-hmm.
that
On
you
the
can do for a
side.
day on the
Mm-hmm.
side. Yeah. Daycare. We talked about this a little bit. A daycare is a place, a business where children or pets go and they're looked after during the day. So it's really great for parents,
Yeah.
pet parents, regular parents. They take their kids to daycare before when they're too young to
Mm-hmm.
go to school and they hang out there for the day.
Mm-hmm. Chaperone is a person who supervises others, especially children or groups of children, like Cass was telling us about being a chaperone for dogs at people's weddings.
Yeah.
Great example.
Really, really great
Mm-hmm.
example. Average Joe. They are not your average Joe. So this is kind of a name that we give to somebody that is just very ordinary, nothing
Mm-hmm.
special, nothing special about them, basically. So like your average Joe is walking down the street and something happens.
Something average happens
Something
to
average
average
happens.
Joe.
Yeah.
Massive. Massive means very large or huge. Like we were talking about one kind of breed of dogs, a Great Dane, and this dog is really massive. It's like a small pony.
Boarding. Boarding is a type of place. It's a facility or a home, and it's where you like a boarding place, a boarding school or whatever. It's a place that you can take your dog or take your pet, and they're taken care of there overnight. It's almost like a hotel or a
Mm-hmm.
sleepover for
Mm-hmm.
pets.
Oh, so cute. And speaking about dogs and everything related to them, you can use the word canine. And if I'm not mistaken, you can say the same about the wolves. They're also
Yep,
canine because
anything
they're from the same
dog.
like dog family.
Yeah.
So everything dog related can be called canine. And interesting fact, for in the police force, they do have a lot of dogs. And that unit of the dogs is called K9, which is like a
Like
very
the
nice
letter K
the
and the
letter
number
cake and
nine.
the number cake, the letter K and the number nine, which is like canine.
Yeah.
and I love it so
Yeah,
much.
they call it the canine unit. A
Uh-huh.
little fun play on words there. Creature. It's a pretty basic vocabulary word, but we thought that we would, include it here. A creature is any living being or living animal. It's just that like overall umbrella term that we use to describe anything that's
Mm-hmm.
living, right? So you can say like dogs are the cutest creatures to have ever walked the earth, in
Yes.
my opinion.
And fun fact about the word creature, I remember when I still lived in Ukraine and I had to teach my students the word creature. I was always bringing up the creature from Harry Potter,
Hmm.
one of the house elves of the house Black. And I know that his name is spelled differently, but it's pronounced as creature. And I do not know if J.K. Rowling actually did like a play on words
Hmm.
on that, but it was a very nice association
Yeah.
to
Creature with a
associate
K.
his name, yes, with the word creature. Anyway, the next word on our list is the word toddler, and toddler is a very young child who is learning how to walk. So it's we talked about it. I guess that Cass mentioned it, that sometimes she has to talk to the dogs as if they're toddlers when she has to quiet them down.
Yeah. The reason why they're called toddlers is because it's a type of walking. Toddling is like when you're walking with kind of uncertainty, like
Yeah, like
unbalanced walking.
staggering.
Exactly. So when babies are learning how to walk, they're
Mm-hmm.
toddling. Distract. So when we distract somebody, you're taking their attention away from something. So, for example, if I am concentrating and if I'm focusing on my work,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot be distracted.
Mm-mm.
If somebody calls me, if somebody tries to talk to me, I'm totally distracted and I cannot go back to my work. It's a problem.
Breed. Breed is a specific type of animal within a species. In our episode, we were talking about a lot of different breeds of dogs like German Shepherd, Pomeranian, Great Dane,
Eagles,
Beagle,
Maltese.
Labrador, Maltese, and all of that stuff. So that's a breed, special kind within the species.
Yes, and all with their own different
Of
personalities
course.
and
Well,
character.
now we know that.
Yes. Discipline. To discipline is to train someone to behave properly. So you can, it is used with children. Like children need to know discipline, meaning like they need to learn manners, they need to learn
Mm-hmm.
how to speak politely, saying please and thank you. Same way with dogs. Dogs need discipline. They need to know how to go to the washroom outside and when to go to the washroom and where to go and tricks and all of
Yep.
that type of stuff.
Adults need discipline too.
We do. That's
Yeah.
very true.
And the next word on the list is the word bias. Bias is a preference or unfair opinion towards something. Like people often have breed biases, whether positive or negative.
Yeah. And we have
Mhm.
learned that it's not about the breed, it's just about the individual dog's personality, right? Their character. All right, next up we have the word spunky. Spunky means energetic or bold or full of spirit. So I was talking about my dog, Ella. Her name is Ella, and she had a very spunky character.
Stimulation is an activity that keeps the mind or body active. Like we learned that dogs need mental stimulation or they will invent hobbies and usually very destructive
That's
ones.
right. That's right.
Hmm.
Sniff is our next vocabulary word. And to sniff is basically you are smelling something through your nose. So you are inhaling through the nose. So dogs, this is how they this is how they get their information, right? They always say that, like what is it? A telephone pole or something like that. This is their water cooler of sorts. So they sniff and they can see what dogs have been there and they learn all their information from sniffing.
Word of mouth. Word of mouth is the information that is shared through people talking to each other. It's a very good type of
Oh,
advertising,
yeah.
I would say. Hmm.
All right. So from canine chaos to pet sitting pros Today's vocabulary definitely had positively good energy, like the pun there.
Love what you did there. Yep. And whether you're caring for a massive husky or a spunky little creature with attitude, keep listening, keep learning, and
Educate
educate yourself.
yourself.